completely irrelevant. The doubts, the worries, the anxiety, the procrastination, the feeling like I don't want to do it today. When it comes to our goals, when it comes to our dreams, we allow our spirit to override all that complacency because we're about to build the life that we want. You understand?
People can tune in with foresight, hindsight.
This is self-mastery, baby.
I think in hindsight,
They give you an hour. That's actually an honor.
Oh my God, in hindsight?
I said, well, you know, I have to listen to the rest of my program.
And when I think about that in hindsight, that did calm me down.
This next season is going to require a whole new level of work ethic, focus, discipline. You understand? A lot of us wait on motivation way too much. A lot of us wait on the feeling of wanting to do something or the feeling of doing something far too often. You understand? On my journey, like for me to accomplish the things I've accomplished so far in my life, 70% of the time, I'll be honest, I don't want to do the thing that I have to do. I rarely want to do my responsibilities. I rarely want to work. I am the type of person who likes to have my cup of tea, be on chill mode, turn on some amapiano and just like chill all day. And then if I feel inspired, go and do it. But when we are building, when we are accomplishing, when we want to live the life that we love and love the life that we live, our feelings a lot of the times will be irrelevant. I'm not saying totally disregard them, but how many times have you convinced yourself that you weren't in the mood? How many times have you convinced yourself that you weren't good enough or it wasn't the right time? We've all been there, and far too often we allow our feelings to be fact, but they're not. Our feelings aren't always fact. We have to allow our spirit to override what our flesh is telling us it wants or doesn't want a lot of the times, don't we? That's where discipline and discernment comes in. This season, discipline, let me tell you, discipline, I want you to write this down or at least say it with me. Discipline and discernment are our greatest tools in this season. Discipline and discernment. Now we know that discipline is freedom. Anytime that I don't want to do something, I meditate on the feeling of how I'm going to feel if I don't do that thing. And I sit there and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be upset with myself. And then I'm going to fall behind. And then that's going to create some anxiety and more procrastination and less confidence. And I literally just embody what that feels like. And it's like, you know, it's not a good feeling. And then I'll sit there and I meditate on the feeling of accomplishing the things that I want to do and the goals and receiving and, you know, being able to bring opportunities to others because that's what I'm really passionate about and, you know, providing and just like doing things beyond what I can see myself even doing. I meditate on that feeling and that fills me up and I say, okay, follow that feeling, but simplify. You know, I know what it's like to procrastinate because I am a master of procrastination. Give me a trophy, give me a badge. But for me, the best thing that I do is focus on one thing. Simplify everything. I get rid of the mountain, I get rid of the goals, and I say, all I have to do is this one thing, and I'm going to do it at 110%. And as soon as I finish that thing, I congratulate myself for the little win, you understand? And I use that energy and get in motion and build that momentum, you understand? This season, this year, like a lot could happen in your life. Maybe a lot is already happening, but there's things that could happen that you're not even aware of if we just turn it up a notch. I'm not saying overexert ourselves. I'm not saying work ourselves to death. What I'm saying is turn it up a notch in our belief, in our consistency, in our discipline. You understand? Not listening to every single thought and feeling because we need what? Discernment. How many times do you have a negative thought come in? And what do you have to do? You have to counter that negative thought with a positive thought, right? Or you simply have to ignore that thought. Or you can believe in that thought. And what happens? You lower your vibration. This is why we need to be aware. You understand? Awareness, self-reflection, and know that we are creating a life that is worth living. You understand? And to create a life that is worth living, what do we have to do? We have to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Every single year, that is my New Year's resolutions. Why? Because we often shy away from the things that make us uncomfortable, but we know that's where the growth is, right? A lot of the times the growth is in that uncomfort. It is in that change. You know that. But how often do we step backwards and convince ourselves because our feeling in that moment says danger? No, what if we fail? What if they judge us? But what do I always say? You understand? They're often judging your first step, not your heart. When I was doing my podcast every single day back in 2020 when the pandemic started, at first I really wanted to do the podcast. And then there were certain days where I didn't feel as motivated. And I'd wake up and I'm like, I don't want to do it today. But it was a daily podcast and people were waiting on the episode. And I would just get myself up and say, you know what? All I got to do is get out of bed right now. Once I get out of bed, I say, all I got to do is have a shower. Once I had a shower, I said, all I got to do is sit down in my computer chair. All I got to do now is pray. And then I would speak. And I would feel so much better after recording. You understand? I didn't want to do it, but about 30% into the process, motivation kicks in. And that's what I realized. A lot of the time, motivation and passion won't kick in until 30 or 40% in. So I remind myself all the time, anything I have to do, I'm not going to feel the rhythm of it until I'm in it. It's very rare that beforehand I have all the inspiration and all the passion and all the ideas. Especially with my creativity, it doesn't go like that. A lot of the times it happens in the process. That's where the magic happens, that's where the excitement comes, and that's where the momentum is built. So in this season, what are we doing? You understand? Our feelings are irrelevant. We're creating systems and we're organizing ourselves to fall into a process that sets us up for success. Because my friend, there is so much for you to receive, so much life for you to live. I believe there is a lot of opportunity for you, even if you can't see it, because the first opportunity we have is what? The first opportunity is always the opportunity to believe in ourselves, because we don't need anybody else to believe in ourselves. We don't need anything to believe in ourselves. You understand? That's between us and the Most High. That is number one. So I want you to do something. I want you to write down, or I want you to say, I got this. You understand? I got this. I may have been distracted. I may have fallen short. I may have been procrastinating. I may have been delaying. I may have been complacent, because let's be honest, we all get there. But I'm not listening to all my feelings, because I know that I am led by spirit, not by my flesh, right? Wake up in the morning, your flesh says, hey, I want a bowl of ice cream. What do? You say, ice cream's not a good thing for breakfast. That's just full of sugar. And you go and you have something healthy instead. We have that awareness. We have that discipline. We have that responsibility. So that same level of precision, you understand? That same level of intention, we need to bring into everything else. Yeah, you don't feel like it today, but guess what? Take one step. That's it. Take one step. And then after that, take one more step. And then one more step. And guess what? Motivation kicks in. And then guess what? Inspiration kicks in. And then guess what? Love for self kicks in. Because there's nothing. One of the best things ever is executing, isn't it? Executing our goals, executing our dreams, executing what we said we're going to do for today. That feels good. That builds momentum. What doesn't feel good? sitting on Instagram, racking up your screen time till it says about 8 hours for the day. Have you ever done that? I've looked at my screen time before and it said like 7 hours in a day. I was like, 7 hours. I could have done a lot in those 7 hours. I could have changed my life. I could have had a groundbreaking idea in those 7 hours. And if we just have the discipline, you understand, and the discernment between what our flesh is saying and what our spirit truly wants, we will be able to get in motion, build that momentum, accomplish, and inspire others along the way. Because once you do it, guess what? You get to show other people how to do it as well. And that's why self-love is service. We learn to love ourselves. We build ourselves up simply so we can help others and be a visible testimony of what the Most High God has done in our life, God willing. So you don't know in hindsight, everything is gonna be all right. What's up, Vibe Tank? And we powered by We're about to get a lot of things in motion this season. Discipline and discernment, our best friends, our greatest tools, my friend. Go and get it. You understand? Your feelings right now, irrelevant. Go and get it.